Here.
John Hutchings.
Here.
John Best.
Here.
Rudy Rosser.
Yes, sir.
Gerald Wood.
Here.
Rick Lawrence.
Here.
Michael Parker.
Here.
Michael, thanks for being here, getting your vacation. George Larger, I'm here. And Michael Club. Here.
Okay, new business, ex parte communications.
Okay, so Michael and I discussed this earlier this week and thought it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a refresher on ex parte contacts, ex parte communication. And I decided that for two reasons. One, I found out earlier this year that the law governing your planning and zoning training changed last year. You're only required to get training 8 hours of training every 4 years instead of every 2 years now. So I have no idea when you might get this again. The other reason is because I witnessed something on social media over the weekend where somebody was advocating for people to call you directly and tell you how they felt about this issue, which is a no-no. This body is not accountable to the public. You all, as a planning commission, are an independent, apolitical board, the purpose of which is to give non-biased advice to the local legislative bodies. The elected officials are accountable to the public. Their boards are. You all are not. The only time you all should be interacting with the public is during a public hearing. So they contacting you or you contacting them for anything that's on your guys' plate is a legal minefield. So I suggest that if anybody approaches you, that you just kindly explain that you can't talk about any of this stuff and refuse to do so. Either change the subject or walk away. If it's a phone call or text, ask them to stop contacting you. If they don't, block them or ask them to stop. Michael, do you have anything to add about that?
It's the functional equivalent of someone contacting the judge who is presiding over their custody case outside of the courtroom and asking the judge to rule in their favor. I think we all understand that that would be inappropriate. And I have no doubt that members of the public, when they do want to speak with you, are well-meaning, but you're supposed to base your decisions based on opinions and information that you receive at public hearings. So, that's all I have to say.
Yeah. I'm sure you all know this already. It just, you all get training from time to time, and it's mostly a refresher, but we thought it might be a good idea to go forward. Are there any questions? You all have any questions? All right, thank you.
All right, follow-up discussion, data center zoning amendment application. Is there any further discussion or question you want to talk about?
Yeah, what do y'all want to do?
Michael, you weren't here for the second meeting.
I did take the time to watch as best I could, the audio, we have an official recording of that, but the audio wasn't great at times, but I think I understood. I think when we all met a while back, one of the recommendations that we had was, adding, a community benefits agreement as part of that. I think the ultimate version that was stripped out a little. I'm still kind of a little bit, in my head asking some of those types of questions. But unfortunately, I don't have all those answers. Looking at that plan, one of the big things that strikes me is some of the enormous size of it is, can we handle all the construction traffic? And there's $15 million that I understood is dedicated for future state infrastructure agreements, and I don't know what that is. I understand that's part of the the ultimate development plan that would be there. But, I'm not certain what $15 million grabs as the state money on right-of-ways today. But those are the type of things that I was an adjacent property owner or property owner there that I would be concerned about, because that ramps up. The state doesn't get things done tomorrow. It takes some time as well. And I don't know if that makes any sense at all. That's just one immediate concern that jumps out to me.
this, was it $40 million in water infrastructure, $500 million in EPC infrastructure investment, again, as you alluded to, the $50 million or whatever, you know, in the roads. Is that in writing? Do we have that, is that documented, or what kind of safeguard do we have as a community that's actually going to happen?
Well, I mean, what was in the development plan? I haven't taken a look at it since last week. I mean, if they have an agreement, and they testify, we can have it.
Okay.
I don't think it's anything.
One thing with that development plan, once they file, if this should go through, once they file an application, building permit, there has to be a bigger, more detailed development plan in place. That has to be approved.
But it's that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, that development plan is not approved, and they can't move forward. That they have to have a more detailed, this is I mean, if you look through the ordinance, they've done what they were required for the initial application development, basically an overview. I read back through it today, and there has to be a more comprehensive development plan once there's a permit in place. And then that's when, local permitting's gotta be in place, all that kind of stuff has to start showing up.
So when, how much time frame on that?
So as I recall, you all have 2 months to approve that since this was received. This was received, I think, early March. So we probably have a meeting later this month. And in the meantime, I and others would take a look at the development plan to make sure all the boxes were checked and what the fiscal court passed in February. And then we would bring that to you guys, and you guys would explain it, and you all sign off on it or not sign off on it. But after that 2 months, it goes to the fiscal court. You all-
And how you describe that as ministerial type of a function where we've got check off from sewer, we've got check off from infrastructure, we've got check off from environmental. Here's all of our findings, the staff report there, if you guys have any further questions, and would you approve this to go back from the development plan?
I believe all of them is have to be approved.
That's what it's doing, it's no permit fee by that time.
I don't think that's, I'm not sure if that's required by the I think like building permits and such, that would be after that.
Not the environment, not just the building permits, what about the environmental permit? We need that, all of that.
I don't recall.
Well, I don't think anything takes place until
Has to be
it's
checked
in
marked.
place.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Just wanted to check
I
mark.
think you all would approve whatever's required by the development plan. I don't remember what was changed about the environmental section other than you guys approved it or recommended it. But I'd have to take a look. at
Those permits are dictated by state law, and they can move until those permits are granted.
Right.
Right, there's a lot of stuff in there that won't be governed by us. All the infrastructure stuff, that is all stuff from public utilities, from the state. Because, I mean, we don't really have a whole lot of expertise with things like environmental regulations.
Certainly not.
You know, one question that I asked, and I had to miss the last meeting, but on Wednesday of last week was, you know, I think I made some comments about, you know, there's supposed to be certain burning around the project. I know I mentioned the southern edge, here next coming off of Slide Pike, was not burned. I think there's some topography issues may or may not be there. Then I was reminded that the ordinance says they have to burn it. So whatever this is, it, you know, ultimately won't, is it fixed? Yeah, I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm
Yeah, so that's burned, I'm just saying, but I guess still, still it was the same as, that, some of those details that come in that development plan, where they have to match all of our ordinances.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think some of the, what's in the plan right now, as far as, as time goes on, they'll probably revise some of it, because they'll either find a better way of doing it, be a work order change on some of that stuff. And I figured that design change over time will change.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, this is a preliminary development.
Right.
You know, I think it was important on Wednesday night that I asked the question, and we heard a lot in the community about how big is this? Is it, you know, it's going across the double A, it's 10,000, 5,000, 2,000. And the applicant told us, at that time, this is the project. Of all the projected need and power needs and plans and working with EKP and repairs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, what we see is the plan. Anything else that's under contract or people working with, or is either somebody buying property, another entity, or what, but this is the development's plan for that, for that.
And that's all the land that we were actually looking at rezoning, is that 2008, yeah,
Correct.
that's it.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to hear from the applicant, reiterating their commitment to the financial aspect of this, the capital costs involved, the way the rates are projected, knowing that once this goes back to the fiscal court and out in their court to negotiate all that and put it in writing, but I'd like to hear what they put in the plan and have them speak to that again.
I'm not sure that it's appropriate for you to ask for additional information not in the context of a public hearing.
What am I asking for?
I think you're asking the developer to provide you with additional facts upon which you might be basing a decision. And I think that that has to be done on the record of the hearing.
That gets us back to the permits, contracts. Last meeting we had, I think there's a lawsuit that was being filed. You know the status of that lawsuit?
There has been a lawsuit filed, yes.
So should we even be considering something that is court? That we don't know what the determination will be, we may be looking at, a legal application.
I think that if you want to discuss the lawsuit specifically, that we can go into closed session. I think the short answer to your question would be, I don't know that that in and of itself needs to stop your deliberations.
This, in my opinion, this is one step in that process. This will go to the court, the court will have their say, and then whatever the outcome of the lawsuit.
As I understand it, it already is in court, it's been filed, it's in court, right?
There's a lawsuit that has been filed, yes.
So we're dealing with something that's a lawsuit. In other words, we don't know whether we're dealing with the legal outcome. That's what the lawsuit's about.
I think if you want to discuss the lawsuit in more specifics, that I would recommend you go into closed session.
Mr. Chairman,
I think it would probably be prudent.
I think it would be prudent that we go into closed session to discuss the lawsuit.
Good, what do we gotta do?
I think you need to file, I think someone needs to make a motion to go into closed session.
You know, what does that do with this meeting here?
It continues, correct?
Your meeting continues and it takes place outside the hearing of the public because it would be discussing litigation.
And then we'll come back in and we can discuss this right after we go into closed session, we just come right back out. So it's gonna be a couple minute conversation and we can come right back out and hash this out further. Understood? I'll motion to go into closed session.
Well, before you do, let me, I don't guess I'm following track of this because the attorney who brought the lawsuit, so we're gonna hear one side of the story to this lawsuit. Who's here to represent both parties?
I'm here to represent the commission, Kirby, and I'm happy to tell you my opinion about the effect of that lawsuit on this body.
Okay, what about the people?
Doesn't care. I'm happy to, I recommend that if you want to discuss this lawsuit, we go into closed session.
I would second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good.
Okay.
Where we go?
We can go to another room, I think.
There's some rules we're not.
Look here. Let him go.
Do I have a motion to go back into regular meeting? Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll get back in regular meeting. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Do I have a motion to accept or deny the application?
I have a motion to accept the application and send it back to fiscal court.
May I have a motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So before you all proceed to a vote, Rick, I'm gonna suggest that, if you're making a motion to approve the application, that you cite to, the potential jobs, potential increase in tax revenue to local government, and to the, investment in the community and local infrastructure as justification to overcome the presumption in comprehensive plan that large tracts of agricultural land should be preserved.
I just included that in my motion.
Why don't you let him go for you?
And that therefore it's in agreement with the comprehensive plan.
Oh,
Any discussion?
good.
All right, let's do a voice vote. John Hutchings,
Yes.
John Best,
Yes.
Kirby Rosser,
No.
Gerald Woods,
Yes.
Rick Lawrence.
Yes.
Michael Parker.
Abstain.
Okay, so that is 4 in favor, the motion carries. All right,
Future meetings?
yes, so, I think Michael has spent significant time putting together the findings of fact for this. Also, we'll have to meet again to approve those findings of fact. We'll have to meet again to, discuss, approve the development plan. I think we'll need to enter into the record the transcripts once we get them. So I have tentatively scheduled this room for 2 weeks from today, Wednesday the 15th, 3 weeks from today, Wednesday the 22nd. I think the 22nd is probably the better date. That gives staff more time to review the development plan. There's also, the 29th is out because that's the candidate open forum at Cross Point.
Just do one day, just one meeting, right?
Yeah, just one meeting.
Just 1 second.
So that'd be a special meeting because it'd be in here and it wouldn't be in a normal time. The 15th, there's something that Blueprint Kentucky is hosting downtown. It's a revitalization event that I personally like to go to. Blueprint Kentucky is the new name of SEDIC, which is the group that helped us with the comprehensive plan that we hired. So they're having that. So I recommend Wednesday the 22nd special. Okay. I don't think we can motion for that, do we?
Special meeting.
Does that mean that's
What?
Special meeting, you need a motion for special meeting?
Yeah.
zoned
I
A3
don't think so.
now?
All right, so we'll have a special meeting on Wednesday, April 22nd.
But that's
here,
what these
5:30.
guys said.
Any other discussion? Need a motion to adjourn? Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.